From start to finish, the largest property theft in modern-day history lasted only 81 minutes. In the early hours of March 18, 1990, at 1:24 a.m. on a Sunday, the doorbell rang at the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston's Back Bay neighborhood. When one of the museum's 2 security guards walked to the door, he saw 2 men dressed in police uniforms waving at him through the glass with an inquiry. "Police, let us in. We heard about a disturbance in the courtyard," said one. Since they claimed they were police responding to a disturbance, the unsuspecting guard allowed the 2 men in. But what came next has continued to shock the art world for the last 27 years. Today's video will uncover everything about the biggest art heist ever. But before we do, please kindly subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more true crime videos that strike fear in America. Isabella Stewart was a wealthy American art collector and philanthropist from Boston, Massachusetts. In 1903, Gardner opened the construction of her namesake museum out of her private Venetian palazzo, inspired to enrich the people with the world around them and enjoy the public forever. Isabella was born to wealthy parents in New York City on April 14, 1840. Growing up, Isabella loved fine art, music, and dance. She was schooled in Paris before traveling around exploring the treasure of the Italian Renaissance. In 1858, Isabella returned to New York and moved to her hometown, Boston. In 1860, Isabella married John Lowell Jack from Boston. The couple lived gleefully and contented with their only son, who sadly died from pneumonia at only 2 years old. Then, in 1866, the tragic news broke out. Isabella had suffered a miscarriage, and doctors told her that she would never be able to bear children again. Heartbroken, and coupled with the death of his only son, Jack Jr. worsened things. Isabella's doctor advised her to withdraw from the public, and then suggested that a trip to Europe could restore her health. Isabella and her husband relocated to Paris. While in Europe, her mood began to improve. After a few years, she thought of returning to Boston to live a legacy, something that would forever impact the people and establish her as a fashionable socialite. What other thing could it be than what she loved most? Fine art. As the daughter of a wealthy linen merchant, the capital wasn't an issue. Following her father's death in 1891, Isabella used her inheritance gracefully to delight the people with her fine art collection. The concert Vermeer was one of Isabella's first acquisitions and was one of the gems looted in the museum. As someone who adored artwork, Isabella traveled from Venice to Paris, Asia, and the Middle East, searching for more treasures to pack full of her impressive gallery. Shortly, Isabella's collection hit 70 pieces of priceless fine arts crafted by some of the best hands in Europe. Some of the artworks included Botticelli's Madonna and Child with an Angel, Rembrandt's self-portrait, age 23, and Titian's Rape of Europa. Next, Isabella thought about moving the collection out of their home in Boston's Back Bay to a place where people could fully appreciate its uniqueness. Following the death of her husband in 1898, she started constructing a museum that truly suited her person to host her collection for the education and enjoyment of the public forever. Due to her likeness to the Renaissance Italian works, she modeled the museum to fit the 15th century Venetian palace, and it was stunning, with a garden courtyard rounded by the glass, 3 floors of gallery space, and a music room. Everything was designed to display Isabella's collection in her eclectic way to give great aesthetic pleasure. On January 1st, 1903, the museum was complete, and even after she died in 1924, it still operated according to Isabella's grand vision. In the early morning of March 18, 1990, 13 artworks displayed in the lavishly decorated gallery were burgled by smashing the protective glass of the priceless paintings and cutting the canvases from their gilded frames. Some of these stolen treasures included The Concert, one of the most valuable unrecovered paintings in the world by Johannes Vermeer. Another missing is The Storm on the Sea of Galilee and A Lady and Gentleman in Black by Rembrandt. Other paintings and sketches by Govert Flinck, Edgar Degas, Edward Manet, and a less significant eagle finial in Chinese gu, a type of ritual vessel. The guards on duty, Rick Abath and Randy Hestand, admitted the thieves into the museum hall. Minutes later, the criminals overpowered the unsuspecting security guards and handcuffed them to pipes in the museum basement with duct tape around their heads. They then removed the tapes of security footage and data recorded by motion detectors while moving from room to room, looting the most convenient artworks collectively valued today at $500 million. You know, most of the guards were either older or they were college students. Nobody there could deal with actual criminals. But that night, 2 cops rang the doorbell. They had hats and badges, looked like cops, and I let them in. They said, "Are you here alone?" And I said, "I have a partner out on a round." So they said, "Calm him down." And they said, "Gentlemen, this is a robbery." Following the looting, there was a flurry of press attention. The FBI investigators weighed in and released the little information they got from the scene, along with an initial $5 million reward for the safe return of the stolen treasures. The investigators assumed the theft could have been planned and executed by the Carmelo Merlino gang, a fierce Boston mafia organization. In March 2013, the FBI added that 2 Merlino members, with a high degree of confidence, stole the artwork and transported it via organized crime networks to Connecticut and the Philadelphia region, where they attempted to sell it on the black market in 2002. In 2015, the FBI revealed the names of its primary suspects in the heist, George Reisfelder and Leonard DiMuzio. According to the group, the 2 associates resembled police sketches of the criminals who died within 1 year of the operation. Other leads included the museum's 2 guards on duty that night, especially Rick Abath, who was a regular guard on the night shift. Rick was a suspect because a great magnitude of crime mostly succeeds through an inside source. But Rick had consistently denied involvement in the shameful and distasteful act. At the time of the robbery, I had just dropped out of the Berklee College of Music. I was playing in a band and working the night shift at the museum. So I was just this hippie guy who wasn't hurting anything, wasn't on anybody's radar, and the next day I was on everyone's radar for the largest art heist in history, Rick told NPR. But a rare security camera video released by Massachusetts reportedly showed Rick's grainy footage opening the same side doors used by the criminals and admitting an unidentified man in a waist-length coat and an upturned collar. While multiple theories and investigations have ensued since the theft, they have all led to dead ends. Today, the museum has upped its offering to $10 million for anyone, including the thieves since their statute of limitations on the crime has expired, that can provide useful information leading to the safe return of the looted artworks. That's not all. Anyone whose information leads to the restitution of some, but not all of the fine arts, will receive a partial reward. At the same time, anyone who helps with tips leading to the whereabouts of the Napoleon Eagle finial gets an extra $100,000 reward. In their exact words, as published on the museum's official website, the return of the Gardner's works remains a top priority. The museum, FBI, and U.S. Attorney's Office are still seeking viable leads that could result in the safe return of the art. The museum is offering a $10 million reward for information leading directly to the safe return of the stolen works. A share of the reward would be given in exchange for information leading to the restitution of any portion of the works. A separate reward of $100,000 is being offered for the return of the Napoleonic Eagle finial. Anyone with information about the stolen artworks should contact Director of Security Anthony Amore. The artworks are priceless gems that mustn't be traded, as per Isabella Stewart Gardner's will, and nothing in the museum's collection is allowed to be moved. So to honor the founder's wishes, the empty frames that once contained Isabella's masterpieces must be placed back on the walls in their respective spots. So now you see why the family and authorities are doing everything possible to bring back the stolen treasures. The frames sit empty now, but we're hoping that the looters will one day return the resident paintings. Do you think we'll ever find out the true culprits behind the heist? Do you think any of the artworks will ever be found? Tell us what you think in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.